a bag of 20 or 30K.
Yeah.
Because having 20K or 30K once is expensive. But them having 100 shillings or 200 to buy a plastic bag is cheap. But yet at the end of it all, at the end of the day, either the plastic bag is torn because it is very light, or the kid has just lost it. So that's also what's causing pollution. But at the end of it all, the mother is spending actually more money because a term has 3 months. That is about 80 to 90,000 every term for plastic bags. So we thought if we'd make a bag for the kids to have their books safely, because also our bags are actually waterproof, so the kids can also walk through the rain and go to school without their books getting wet. But at the same time, we wanted to provide dignity for the kids to have their bags, their books in the bags.
Wow.
Yeah, that's how we zeroed down to.
So
make
that's
bags.
actually one of your products we're seeing on the screen?
Yes.
All right, so how much do they go for?
So we make backpacks. Backpacks, people can also use them to have like your laptop.
So for example, like
and
that
come
one.
to and come to work. That one is 60,000.
Is it a backpack? Is that
Yes, that's a backpack.
Okay.
It's a space for a laptop, and it's mostly actually used by tourists because they get to travel, and you have your camera, your phone, all safe in case you're going to Bwindi and it's raining. You don't have to worry.
Because it's made out of the recycled bag. And then those ones? Those
ones are cross bags. Yes. We also make school bags for the kids, and for every backpack that you buy, we give out one free school bag for a rural kid in Uganda. But we also work with organizations and NGOs that support production of also bags that we donate. Last year, between November, December, and January, we donated 1,000 bags in the refugee camp with support from UNFPA. They funded the production and distribution of the bags.
Wow.
Yeah, to Shakatu refugee camp.
Wow.
Yes.
Well, that's the story of Faith Aweko right there, our CEO on the CEO bench today. And of course, we want to say thank you very much for being part of the show. Faith, just before we wind up the show, I want to just take you through some very interesting experiences that I see you've gotten here. And I want to go to the awards. What was it like when you were announced as the award winner? That day, and they said, Faith, you are the winner of this award, and going back to where the journey started and your dad, did you announce this to your parents?
No, I didn't. Yes, I didn't announce. So the first award that we got was Social Impact Award.
Yeah.
Yes, Social Impact Award happens every year. It's global. It happens every year.
Yeah. And
in Africa, it happens in Uganda.
Yeah.
So we were the winners of Social Impact Award. Most of the awards we've actually got has been funding, financial support. So that has helped also boost us as a company, more especially also during this COVID, that we are able to pay rent and we're able to pay our workers
and support those who are working with you.
Yes.
Okay. You have reformed that place. I'm seeing a house on the screen. Tell us about that. Is that your office? That's how your homes are built? What's this?
So that was our workshop in Mpigi before we moved to Entebbe.
Okay.
Yeah, that is just our workshop.
So was that built out of the
plastic bottles?
Yes.
Yes.
The whole house?
That is, yes. The Social Innovation Academy.
Yeah.
All the houses are built out of plastic bottles.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. And Faith, what would be your parting shot today? Where do you see, first of all, before you do the parting shot, where do you see yourself 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 50 years from now? And how would you like to be remembered as the founder of Reform Africa? Where do you see Reform Africa?
So, so there are two things. Where I see myself is someone of inspiration, to be able to inspire people, especially women, to reach out to their full potentials, because I believe a lot of women have dreams, a lot of women have potentials that are seated there, you know, because they are afraid of change or they are afraid of where to start from. So I want to be able to share my story fully so that people can be inspired and they, you know, when they become better versions of themselves, and also live to their fullest potential. And with Reform Africa, we would like to open up a recycling hub, because currently we just go trained in schools, but we want to open up a recycling hub where people come and learn about recycling. And we've partly moved away, not really moved away, but we are not only actually now recycling plastic polythene bags, but we've now, because that is soft plastic, we've now moved to recycling hard plastic. We acquired machines from Plastic Renewal in Austria that makes machines that recycle hard plastics. So we're currently making pegs for hanging clothes online, but that is made out of broken buckets and broken chairs.
Wow. Faith, thank you very much. Let's talk about health and fitness. You said you dived into health and fitness last week. In fact, one of the people who nominated you is called Diwato Chom. He's a friend of mine, but also transformed his life when he went to do his master's in the UK at Swansea University. He came back a different person altogether, no stomach, looking really good, and then so he was one of the people who nominated you among about another 15 other people who nominated you to come. This is not Okila Health and Fitness, this is the CEO bench. So we won't talk very much about the Okila Health and Fitness things there. That's totally a different interview altogether. But is it important? Why did you pick on, looking after your health and put your health goals and fitness goals up? What turned around your mind to think about this? Not very many people find that very useful for them when they are in this kind of work. Okay,
so I can first share like what fitness has helped me do. So fitness, putting away the goals of being fit and all that, it has helped me to really boost my confidence and discipline in life, consistency, because I believe if I am able, because I'm a bodybuilder, so I do lift weight, but if I am able to really push myself to lift from 5 kg, 10 to 20 to 50, I believe I am able to really, if I set my mind on something in the professional world, I am able to achieve it because I was able to achieve it through fitness. So, yes, so with also that, I've learned a lot through, through fitness, mostly to it's been a personal growth journey to get to know my potentials, to get to know my limit, because I also realized actually human beings, we are limitless. Most times it's only our body that is tired, but our mind, it's only our mind, yes, tired, it's only the mind that is tired, because sometimes I get to push myself, I tell my coach I am tired. It's like, you are not tired. So I realize fitness is just a mind game, and if you are able to really work on that, then in the professional world it will just be like a walkover.
Wow. Well, if you fear fitness, Faith is there for you, and we always say that a fit mind is a mind that is going to be successful, and you cannot be productive when you are sick. And I've always told people, you can't make money when you are sick, neither can you spend money when you are sick, nor can your productivity improve when you are unwell or when you are sick. You cannot be, broke and unfit. Certainly God will reject you, yes. So the point, but that's my philosophy. Faith, we're gonna have to bring the interview to a close, but I have a question here for you from one. Frank Tugume says the best show on Friday and in the country. Welcome to the CEO bench, guys. Thank you very much. But Faith, I have a question for you. How do you manage losses while doing businesses? As an entrepreneur, now that's a question for you. How do you manage losses while doing businesses? Coming from Frank Tugume.
So, like in business, you have to have an open mind, because with loss, I take it as a lesson. I try as much as possible, business and personal life, at my lowest, or if I'm experiencing loss, which lessons can I really learn from this? That helps me to make better decisions in life in the future, because it's I can have maybe a loss of 10M, but probably in the future I might even have a loss of 100M. But so experiencing such helps me to get ready for even more bigger challenges in the future.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much, Faith, for coming to the CEO Bench. And what is your parting shot today? If you're to leave us, what would you say to the people who nominated you? What would be the message to the people who nominated you to come to the CEO Bench? If you look into that camera, yes.
I would like to thank them. I would like to thank everyone who nominated me to be on the CEO Bench. It's a privilege to sit here and get interviewed, but also thank you to everyone who is listening. But my call is for people to be able to discover their potentials and reach their highest version.
Wow. Thank you very much for coming to the CEO Bench, Faith, and thank you very much everybody who nominated Faith to come to the CEO Bench. I want to say a shout out to all the people in the diaspora, in the US, in the UK, in Australia, in Denmark, and the guys in Nairobi, Kenya, the guys in Tanzania, and of course my brothers and sisters from South Sudan, and of course you've got some nomination coming from Ethiopia and from Egypt. So Faith, thank you very much for touching lives. People who have interacted with your bags have nominated you. And until then, we want to say thank you for coming, and thank you to everyone who have been part of the CEO Bench. Until next week, keep it the CEO Bench and remain safe and found. Make sure you are learning from people who are doing it and growing places. My name is Eddie Okila, Faith, and we're signing out.
Itaranto. Hariho umutware yaratunze cyane afite n'abagaragu, kera kabaye agira uruzinduko mu kindi gihugu, ahamagara abagaragu be maze abasigira ubutunzi bwe. Umwamuha itarane eshanu, undi amuha ebyiri, undi amuha itarane imwe itagirira kabiri, maze umutware arazinduka. Maze babagaragu batangira gukoresha za carano nk'uko shebuja yazibasigiye. Uwahawe shana aragenda arazigenza, agenzura amesha hano. Uwahawe ebyiri nawe abigenza atyo, agenzura ebyiri. Maze wa wundi wahawe imwe aragenda acukura icobo, ayishamo ya tarano, aratinyuka arayitabaye. Nuko imetsi irayitindira ataha, maze shebuja mu kuzindukuruka abarana nabo ibyo yabasigiye. Uwahawe shana araseruka ati databuja mwiza, wansigiye shanu uzungutse izindi eshanu. Uwahawe ebyiri nawe araseruka ati databuja mwiza, wansigiye ebyiri zungutse izindi ebyiri. Shebuja ati bagaragu banje beza, nuko kuko mwakiranutse muri bike nico gitumye mbegurira byinshi ico nimuze mwinjire mu munezero wa shobuja maze wawundi waho witara ntimwe itagiriye kabiri adatera hejuru azayivovuta cane ati databuja narinzi kuri umunyamwaga usarura utabibye na munagane itaranto narayitavye mu butaka dore ngiyo ufata ibyawe maze shebuja aramusubiza ati mbe mugaragu mubi niko wamunyabutewe esi ni wari ukwiye kuyiha abagenza maze nkasanga inyungu yayo nuko shebuja arayimwambura ayigabira wa wundi wungutse itara n'icumi igiye mu zindi agira 11 kuko ufite wese azongererwa ariko udafite azanyagwa n'utwo yari afite maze wa mugaragu mubi baramuboha bamujugunya mu mwijima hanze azize ubupfapfa mbega agahinda we itaranto yawe yikoreshe neza igira umumaro mu gihe gikwiye itaranto yawe yikoreshe neza igira umumaro mu gihe gikwiye mbese gufasha abakene gusura abarwayi ibikorwa by'urukundo gushigikirana imirimo myiza igihe twahawe aya mafaranga nizo taranto twasigiwe ngo zigire umumaro igihe tukiriho itaranto yawe iyikoreshe neza igira umumaro mu gihe gikwiye itaranto yawe iyikoreshe neza igira umumaro mu gihe gikwiye
I want you to share with us from your experiences. You've been going quite a lot, traveling around the world and seeing these things in different countries. What would you share with us today that we can pick from your experiences where you've been going that we can do down here at home and make it better in Africa, and which Abdul can pick lessons from to go back and continue to impact the lives of people in these communities. Yes.
Yeah, I think when as we said at the beginning, like we are, as a community of citizens, we always like to be inspired. And graffiti normally is about inspiration. You might say piece of mask, a piece of but for example, for me, when I see most of the graffiti work, much of this work is conceptual, it's abstract. People don't understand it. But if we could start from the area where people understand, like for some of our icons, just imagine in Kawempe you have a beautiful graffiti wall of Geoffrey Riema, of Philip Bongole Utaya, of Paul Kafero, of Fred Sebata. All these, like Peterson.
I think he has one already there of
Peterson. But then, of course, great piece. Great piece. But then
it's a recent thing. We need to do something.
So we're looking at like how can we also start presenting work that is going to inspire our people, people that people need to remember. Like Peterson Mutebi, like Mr. Serasega Mwenge, all these people, the Byron Kawadwas. There are so many Ugandans that are very, very people are attached to. Just for example, like if GNL is emotionally attached to his graffiti wall mural, and then what is he going to do? He'll push it. He'll push his wall. So if Cliff Mutebi comes and sees his father's mural of Peterson Mutebi on the wall, he'll push it because he finds it that inspiration. And that's meaning that you're growing your community. You're not just skilling them with hands-on, but you're also empowering them to feel proud of who they are and who are their parents or their ancestors are. So I think we need to start looking at how do we celebrate our own? How do we celebrate? I like the Rwandan piece. And I know, because when he was explaining the love of the city, I know there has been conflict and tension between Rwanda and Uganda. It speaks volumes, but at the same time, it is detaching from the Ugandans. They're like, how do we cultivate our own people to appreciate their own history? When you look at bigger cities, they always find those people that are very related or connecting to them. The conceptualization is also about, because there's someone saying that, no, I need to speak my mind, but you also need to connect to the community.
Thank you.
How does the community relate to this kind of work? This mural, which is at Alliancia, was done by a German team. But you find the way they were trying to create, in its abstract, they also try to bring in the Ugandan aspect of it by having the crane as part of the concept. So how do we connect our work to cultivate the love and the appreciation of our own communities, and also try to grow, make it as much better and much sophisticated in a way that it shows the maturity of your work. So for me, this is what I'd like to say, that scaling is not only about giving people hands-on skills, but it's also cultivating their minds, inspiring them, making sure that you are exposing them, you're kind of challenging them to think differently, to attract a different mindset.
mbakumbuze igitaramo cy'iwacu iyo dukoze ku nyamirya izubuhuha n'inkomangano biratwizihira cyane. Mpamagare muhigirwa ni Nyaruguru mu muhamirizo w'intore, mu muhamirizo w'intore. Sebaganji babukwege aseruke mu byivugo byiza. Mpamagare Sebatunzi ayihere mu miyuki akubwira inaha na batatu yaruta mu kinyange cyarutiruka mu bakemba, mu bakemba. Tugutaramire kandi uzagaruka ahiwacu turatarama ngwinurare. Tugutaramire kandi uzagaruka turatarama ngwinurare. Tugutaramire kandi uzagaruka.
Epana biso tolinga kobina, epana biso tolinga kosepela elongo tolinga tosepela tosangisa pe tolingana.
Tugusogongeze ku ntango y'amahoro, nkwibutsa umugani wa Nyashya na Baba, inkuru ya Saruhara rwa Nkomokomo, Cyacana ndetse na Ngunda. Tugutaramire kandi uzagaruka
Ahiwacu turatarama ngwinurare.
aho dutaramiye nta rungu. Tugutaramire kandi uzagaruka
Turatarama ngwinurare. Tolingana nisokaka kosepela.
Tugutaramire kandi uzagaruka. Turataramira ijoro tukarita hanze, jya mbere wampaye inka cyuringanje cyuringanje. Reka ntugatsikire. Cyuringanje cyuringanje cyuringanje. Nuko umuco wacu ntugacindishe.
Of Talent Television. My name is Ateng Emmanuel. If you haven't yet grabbed your cup of coffee, this would be a good time to do that. Welcome to the show that is all about coffee, where we get to talk about coffee, we get to explain things about coffee, where we get to brew coffee on the show. I don't think there's any other show in Uganda that is like this one. We have a lot of stuff planned for you guys today. At some time in the show, we'll be brewing coffee. For those of you who want to learn, those of you who have been on YouTube University, those of you who have been on Google trying to learn how to make a good cup of coffee, well, we're going to do that today. And with me in the studio, like always, we have the coffee messiah, Mr. Amon Mukisa. And it's always lovely to see that smile on his face every time we say the coffee messiah. Amon, you're very welcome to the show. It's good to see you.
Thank you.
You're looking all good. I see you on that beard plan, you know.
I'm happy happy that I'm partially lifted from the lockdown, so I'm enjoying everything.
Actually, partially is a very
Partially
good word.
compared to
Yeah,
fully being locked
it's
down.
better than what was there before.
Man, it was worse.
Well, Ahmad, it's very good to see you, and we have a special guest with us here today, all the way from Kuwait. We're getting international people. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Mr. Derek Watiti. Derek, you're very welcome to the show. Welcome to House of Talent Television. Welcome to the coffee break. You know, this is a family that, you know, gets to talk all about coffee with the Messiah here. What we're trying to do is to convert people, you know. We're trying to convert people from, you know, just taking tea, from having a tea culture, you know, into a coffee culture. Okay, so you're very welcome to the show. I believe that we're going to have a very good show today.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
And, very glad to be here.
It's really good to have you. Now, knowing you, we know that you have been in Kuwait, okay,
Yes.
I think for 2 years.
Yes,
All
sure.
right. And we just want you to go through your profile, basically. We know you, but the people out there do not know who Derek is. Okay, so if you could just take us through your profile, who is Derek in a nutshell?
Derek is a coffee lover,
Yeah.
yes, who was driven with a passion to learn coffee. Coffee is an art, so basically you create. So I was doing some other things,
Yeah.
but I loved seeing and watching people make coffee, and then, you know, decorating those beautiful coffees,
Yeah.
and then, you know, someone getting to share with you about what coffee can do, and it was really very amazing.
Yeah.
And I wanted to give it a try, and
Okay.
guess what?
Yeah.
It wasn't disappointing.
Mm.
Yes.
Okay, that's an interesting thing. So before you went to Kuwait,
Yes.
okay, we believe that you had a life here in Uganda. Okay, how was your life here in Uganda like, and why did you decide to say, you know what, I think Uganda is not working at the moment? There's that saying that, you know, Kampala has refused. So what took you to that point of saying, you know what, Kampala has refused, let me go try out something else in Kuwait?
Well, for me, like any other person, you know, who has plans, you
Yeah.
know. Yes, at some point everyone has plans, you know, in this period of time. I want to, you know, have achieved something. I want to have, you know, done this and that. So that was what was in my mind before. But yes, much as, you know, some of those things were accomplished, I must say it is what I expected is actually not what I got.
Yeah.
Actually, what I wanted to get turned out to be, I think I would say, okay, I wouldn't say useless, but I would say more less valuable than, you know, what I got. When I say that, I mean the exposure,
Yeah.
you know, and also the knowledge, and getting to, you know, relate with people, with, you know, coffee drinkers.
Yeah.
Yes, I have a very good friend of mine here, Amon, and he understands when I say that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
very interesting. We'll take a short break right now and then come back with more of your story. Stay tuned to House of Talent Television. This is the Coffee Break. Welcome back from that break. We wanted to give you guys a chance to get a cup of coffee, and we believe that since you have gotten that cup of coffee, it's time for us to get back into it. Before we went into the break, Derek was telling us his experience when he was still in Kampala and why he decided to move to Kuwait for 2 years. But throwing over to Amon, okay? Yeah. Just like him, you're a barrister, and I think at a certain point, you sit maybe at home, you sit, you know, at the coffee shop and think, you know what, might be about that time to leave Uganda, okay? If there was any country that you would leave Uganda for, you know, in relation to being a barrister, which country would it be?
That's a hard one. Because I might mention that country, and unfortunately I don't go there because...
you should have some faith.
Like, I mean, like, if I wanted to go to a certain country, and someone is watching this and like, but you said you want to go to this country only. By the way, Emma was, Derek was speaking about the experience. He said that the experience he had in Kuwait, it did not match his expectations, you know? So it kind of motivated me. I'm like, all guys who go there, I think they have that A-game life, you know? They have their lives exposed, getting things done. And now when I hear that,
you get a bit demotivated.
Well, I think coffee is passion, yes, and coffee is art. But I think I would rather say coffee is love. It is love. So when, I don't know if this is, okay, but when God created man, you know, he created and said, he created something good. He created something out of his own. He created us out of his own. So basically, you cannot create something bad.
And
to create something, that means you must be driven by something. So to me, one of the things that I really look up to and I was like, oh, guy, I think I wasn't only there for, you know, for that money, but there is something that changed about me. Like, you know, the way I relate with people, the way I talk with people, within, you know, where I was working, and then also with that clear picture and clear view of, you know, coffee in my mind. Yes.
So that's a very interesting perspective that you brought up. I mean, living in Uganda, okay, was Kuwait the first country in your mind that you knew you had to go to? Because, I mean, there's Dubai, you know, there are other countries in the UAE region that you could have gone to. Why was it Kuwait? And did you have any other option, you know?
Well, to be very honest with you, I didn't have a clear country, you know, that I wanted to go to. As a matter of fact, I think I had about 4 offers. So that was really, it was a very tough decision for me, because I had an offer in Dubai, Abu Dhabi, I had an offer in Oman, I had an offer in Jordan, and then Kuwait. So, and then they, I don't know how it happened, but I mean, they all came in, you know, almost in the same period of time. So it was very hard for me to decide. But yes, away from coffee, I am a prayerful guy. I love to pray. So I think God directed me, and then that is where, you know, I had the courage to decide and then leave for Kuwait.
So it was more of like a spiritual thing. God told you, no, this is the way you should go.
Yes, he gave me directives. Yes.
Amon, coming to you, if you had to make a decision, okay, on the countries he has mentioned, I say Dubai, Oman, Kuwait, let's say we can throw the USA inside there. How would you make a decision and say, you know what, I need to go here? Would you get down on your knees and pray, or you say this country has the best coffee and this is where I need to go to?
No, honestly speaking, I haven't been in a position to think that I would prefer going to UAE as a barrister. Because if that was the case, I mean, I would have put something in motion. But I would love to create something here. I would love to have something visible, something tangible down here in Uganda. So I don't think I would prefer going to any other country. I would love it here.
So you'd be more of a homeboy?
I would be more of a homeboy.
I think actually many people in the coffee industry, many baristas should actually think that way, because people always think, you know, the grass is green on the other side. And when you reach the other side, they have burnt all the grass.
Yes, I mean, if you go abroad, we're speaking about the US, UAE, Italy, Norway, all those drinking countries, they have greater pastures. You're going to get money, you know. But the fact is, how are you going to get that money? First of all, you have to consider things like you're living alone, your family, you're living alone, things that matter to you a lot. You're just giving them up. I'm sure Dave, if he was to be honest with us, it was a difficult situation that took him there.
It was actually, that is one of the most difficult decisions I've had to make in life.
Do you regret it?
Yes. Well, I don't think I really regret it. I don't really regret it. Well, the reason I would give as to why I don't regret is that, well, much as I left my family back home, but it gave me, you know, another picture, you know, of how to relate with people. Because, man, the other countries are very different. The people there are different. Everything is different. The culture, food, everything, totally different from here.
I never heard you tell us about your basis of getting this knowledge. You know, like, did you go to a certain school? I mean, where did you get this skill? Because, to my knowledge, I think for you to be taken as someone who knows something, to say that maybe let's get Derek to Kuwait, must have shown something, must have that valuable thing.
He had offers.
Yes, offers were very many. So where did you go? What I mean?
Well, before I was having a little conversation with my friend Emma here, and this is one of the questions he was asking. Well, I think just like I explained before, it started with passion and then the love, you know, that I had for coffee, seeing these people, you know, putting nice cups, and then people telling me about coffee, it's nice. So I wanted to try it out. But the main thing I think was, actually, I'm just seated to the main man here. This guy was calling you a coffee messiah, and he didn't lie about that. Yes.
You guys are going to.
So I joined a company that I won't mention a name. So I was working as a barman, yes, and then also dabbling as a barista. But the coffees that were made there were really mild. It wasn't that too much because it was just a restaurant and then a backpacker actually. So the coffee was for the breakfast for guests. But I mean I loved, you know, I don't know how and why, but I just loved, you know, operating that coffee machine more than, you know, mixing cocktails and then seeing people fall. So it was very nice.
So can we say that your inspiration was a coffee machine to join coffee?
Well, it wasn't a coffee machine, but I think the main thing was, you know, just like I said earlier on, was, you know, how people, the picture, you know, people used to paint, you know, about coffee. It really drove me very much. Like it I don't know, there is just that, you know, that passion and that love it created in me. And then I just wanted to, you know, to try and well, see how
you finally got it.
Yeah, how it is like. And man, trust me, with that passion and the love, I came to, I joined another company. So from there, from the other company, I joined another one, and then this is where I met, you know, a lot of coffee messiahs, including me himself. And and I just loved how, you know, how he was, you know, handling himself, you know, with that cup of coffee, and then, you know, relating to people, talking to, you know, different people with different, you know, cultures, but then you could see that they were blending because of that, you know, that love thing that I explained before. Excuse me, that coffee, you know, creates in you. So that also, you know, gave me a hype. I was like, oh man, I think I like what this guy does, because I joined as a waiter. Yes, I joined as a waiter, but I had because of this too much passion that I had for it, and then seeing my main guy here, you know, decorating all those nice cups, I was like, okay, I think I need to give it a try.
That was quite a transition from being a barman to a waiter, then to a barista.
Yeah.
That's quite a profile.
Yeah, it's a very good profile.
Yeah.
Well, Derek, fast forwarding now, you've made your decision,
Yes.
okay? You've chosen Kuwait out of all the other options you had.
Yes.
Just run us through your first week or your first month in Kuwait, because I believe that must have been a cultural shock. You know, jumping from Uganda all the way to Kuwait. Okay, you're used to working in, let's say, the coffee shops here, and now I believe it's more commercialized in Kuwait, I believe. Okay, and you have to get into that environment. Okay, how was that first experience for you in Kuwait?
It was a nightmare. Allow me, if I could say.
Yeah.
Well, it was something tough. It was something tough to do because basically everything was new. I was just, you know, getting. It is like introducing new food to, you know, to a toddler. It is very difficult. So you have a lot of work to do.
Yeah.
You know, a lot to do with, you know, learning how to talk to those people. You know, learning how to relate with them, because yes, we are one people. Yes, but we have different cultures. Remember, so the other guys have their own cultures. That, you know, we do not have here in Uganda, and we don't even never think they will ever come here. You know, it's things to do like I want well, a hot and then iced espresso. That was I was very confused. I was very
Hot and
confused
cold.
on hot and cold.
Cold espresso.
But then, yes, that is what he wanted. It was really very hard for me. And then the other thing also is, I think I'll talk about the weather. Yes, it was really, really very, very tough.
Yeah.
Because I think I got there in March, and usually March 2019. So usually, during that month, the winter is still on.
Yeah.
And if it's cold, the other side, it is really cold.
Yeah.
If it's hot, it is extremely hot. So there is nothing that you wish, you know,
to have.
let it come. I want to have winter or summer. It is very difficult.
Yeah.
And then the other thing also is I think about food. Yes, it took me some time to get used, you know, to the food, the other side, because most of the foods there are not really fresh, as you know, it is a desert country. So everything, like most of the foods, are actually packed. So you have to get used to, you know, to those.
That's a very it's a weird experience, because I know going out of the country and, you know, trying to get into a new culture is a very hard thing. But Aman, I'll throw this to you. You are a barista, and before you became what you are now, I believe that you had
What am I now? I was a barista.
You're Messiah.
Now you're Messiah, senior one.
Acquired another title.
Yeah, well, I believe that you also had your first experience, not really out of Uganda, since you want to stay here, in a coffee shop. Okay, how was that first experience for you? Was it a nightmare, or for it was like, man, this is just something I do on a daily?
Man, the first experience when I remember that day. It was a Saturday. I can't remember. I can't forget that day.
Yeah.
So all these guys got sick. I was just training on station. You know, when you're done with school, the barista school, it's not like having that real experience of handling maybe a shift or a station at work. So unfortunately, all these guys got sick. So I was the only guy who was there to run that station. My bosses were like, you know what? We have no option. And those days, Saturdays, we were busy at work. Oh my God. So you'd get orders come through. Morning, I mean, people taking coffee in the morning, lining up on your counter. I'm like, now I'm dead. So I get to work. The first order I got that morning was a cappuccino shake. I'm like, how am I going to do this? How can a cappuccino be a shake? So I had to ask servers around. You know, that's one thing, by the way, about being a barista. You have to accept that maybe something that I don't know, someone knows it. So you have to seek out for help, because these people are working with you and they know some things. Given the fact that they go to clients, take orders, come they explain to you the orders. So they might not be knowing them like practically, but at least they have an idea. So as a person, if they give you an idea, you know how you can play around with it. So with my customer experience, the guy asked for a cappuccino shake. I don't know what I can put in a cappuccino shake until I called my head barista that day. After like 20 minutes of struggling, my friend, shaking. So the head barista told me, no, a cappuccino shake is just simple. Just get ice cream, get your espresso, blend, and that's a cappuccino shake. Just the name confused me totally. So that was my worst experience during my first days as a barista.
There's a saying that, we learn through going through times that are hard. Okay, everyone has that time when they throw you to swim with the sharks, and for you it was everyone got sick and they threw you in the deep end and said and swim. And for Derek it was more of like a culture shock. You get to Kuwait and you're looking at everything and you're like, okay, God, I asked you to bring me here and this is what it is. But we basically learned through those experiences. Now Derek, let's keep talking about Kuwait. Okay, you've gotten there. Your first week and your first month have been hell for you. Okay, but now you're starting to get into the vibe of things. Communicating with your workmates, with the different people, and a country like Kuwait, there's always going to be a language barrier. Okay, it's not like Uganda here where you can switch between Luganda, English, any other language you can switch here and there. But how did you manage, with not only the cultural shock, but also now the language barrier? Because as a barista, your job is not only to make coffee.
True.
You have a job to have that interpersonal relationship, basically, with different people. Okay, so how did you handle that kind of situation?
Well, at first it was hard for me.
Yeah.
It was really hard because I didn't have any word. It was a tough one. But with time, because those people, when they're talking, you could actually think they're angry, they're off or something like that. So it was really very hard for me. But as time went on, I started, understanding them. Or when he says, this, so he means he wants to get this. So slowly, not like speaking, but getting to know what they want. And then, there are common words that, just like you walk in a cafe here in Uganda and you're like, hey, give me a coffee, give me a latte, cappuccino, espresso. So it is like, the conversation is, a little bit direct and also minimized, on my side because I didn't know a lot of Arabic.
That's interesting. I like how you brought in the aspect of, there are certain keywords that you need to speak when you go to a coffee shop, whether you're speaking what language, there are these keywords. So, as we have two baristas here, okay, let's say I'm a newbie, I've entered a coffee shop for the first time in my life, okay, I'm looking at the menu and it's like reading French, I really don't understand what's on the menu. What are some of these keywords that people should know when they enter a coffee shop?
In Arabic.
No.
I mean, it should like learn different languages and ways of like asking for coffee in a coffee shop.
For sure. I mean, if you can say it in Arabic, hey, well and good.
I want to know how I ask for coffee.
I know where you're going. So well, it is really when you want to say I want a cappuccino, you say Atna cappuccino. Give me Atna. Wahad. So Wahad stands for one. So Atna Wahad cappuccino. Like give me one cappuccino. Just like that.
I know that.
Atna.
When you said that, I could see his countenance just dropped. He's like, I don't think I'm going to Kuwait anytime soon. Yeah, but still, on the same topic, like I said, I enter, let's say, Endiro for the first time, okay? What are some of these keywords that, for example, if I don't know what a latte is, I don't know what a cappuccino is, I don't know what a French press is, and a barista is saying, do you want a French press, or do you want this kind of press? What are some of these keywords that you can help our viewers with? To know from the both of you?
Well, to me in Uganda right here, actually not even in Uganda, like generally, globally, there are words that you use to ask for a drink when you access the bar station or any barista station. Simple words. You have to be polite. May I please? Can I please? So you have to be down so that the person you're asking for to give you that drink at least feels more respected, and when they feel more respected, they're going to carry that respect to that cup. And once you're enjoying that cup. So for example, if you come to my stationery, may I please get a double cappuccino to go or to dine in? You know, you see how they have constructed that statement compared to, hey, get me a double cappuccino to go. You get that vibe. So even me as a barista, I will feel disrespect. Yes, I'll make it because that's my job. But the way I make the other cup of coffee, whereby someone is a bit polite, is using those keywords, may I please, can I please, get this to go, you know. And also there are those clients that come when they don't know what to say. They know what to have. Maybe they need an Americano or a house coffee or a French press or an AeroPress, but they don't know how to ask for it. So for example, someone might be wanting a house coffee, you know, and they're like, can I please get a single Americano to go or to dine in? Definitely you as a barista, you know that this client doesn't need an Americano, but they need maybe a regular coffee, which is a bit mild, which will be taken as a house coffee. That's why we call it a house coffee. I mean, we've mentioned it before on the show, because it's mild and it's made in most of the homes. So that's why it came up with the name house coffee. So the moment that client asks that, you don't need to belittle them. You just have to understand what they want and you give it to them, because they used a certain word or a certain keyword that you as a person understands, but for them they don't understand. So if you want to take an initiative, politely, you just have to inform them that, okay, this is a house coffee, it's not an Americano. So maybe if they're mistaken, they need an Americano, then they will explain to you, no, I need more strong, I need it more strong. So you get to understand them. So that's the conversation you have to keep on having, so that you can understand those keywords in a coffee shop.
All right. Derek, before we go for a break, what are some of those types of coffee, that I, as a beginner, should ask for? You know, there are different types. There's a strong, you know, there's a mild. So if I enter and I want to have a good experience, what's the first that I should ask for?
Well, I think a house coffee will do.
Because
just like you mentioned, it's a very mild coffee. So it doesn't like it doesn't have a lot of caffeine in there. So yeah, it's a good one for everyone.
Speaking of caffeine, I think we have a myth, but we're going to go to that after the break. You're watching the Coffee Break on House of Talent Television. In the studio with me, the Coffee Messiah, Amon, and Derek Waititi, who came all the way from Kuwait. We'll be having more on the show, so just take some time, get a cup of coffee, and we will be right back. This is House of Talent Television, the Coffee Break Show.
Isma is fixing audio here. Isma is still fixing audio.
Welcome back to the coffee break. We hope you have gotten your cup of coffee. And still speaking about coffee, we're getting into the part of the show where we teach you guys how to make a good cup of coffee. Okay, and this is a tutorial all the way from Kuwait. We have had the Coffee Messiah giving us the Ugandan tutorial, but we're getting into a tutorial from Kuwait. So I'll hand it over to Derek to take us to what kind of coffee are we making here right now?
Well, I'm gonna make a French press.
Okay.
It is actually one of my favorite. Yes, and yeah, I think.
Yeah, if you could just walk us through, because I know there's someone there at their home who has their, French press. They have their kettle ready. They have their cup. So
sure.
Just walk us through, from where do we start until we get it into the cup.
Well, of course, the very first thing is you're going to need coffee.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah, which I think we have here.
Which I think we have.
Yeah.
Good enough. So, and then you're going to need your French press.
Yeah.
Maker.
Okay.
The coffee itself. I prefer using about 25 grams of coffee, and then about 400, 12 ounces of water, or 400 grams of water, if you can call it.
Okay.
Yeah. So you also need hot water. Yes, really hot. I like, making it hot first, because that will really keep my my coffee. It will keep it hot just a little bit. It doesn't really have to. It doesn't have to be that hot. And then I will also heat my cup. Just a little bit. It doesn't have to be
that much.
Yeah, that much. So well.
So is it necessary for someone to have like a scale to really measure?
Well, it is not really that necessary.
Yeah.
It